This is not my world. This isn't what I signed up for. I signed up for a world where by 30 you can have a house and a wife and kids, not live alone in some shitty little apartment, having no money for anything, even though you never buy anything except the cheapest food and gas. Not that I can even afford those right now. I signed up for a world where by 30 you can make some headway in your career, doing work which has something to do with your actual goal in life. I spent a ridiculous amount of money, or my loans did, to go to the top college in my field. And what do I get for my trouble? I've been unemployed for 7 years. I apply to 100 jobs a day and I don't hear back from a single one. I signed up for a world where by 30 you can not only support yourself, but support a family at a job which pays a decent living wage. And it's not just that the minimum wage stays the same. It's that they keep changing the means by which inflation is calculated so that it doesn't hurt so much, that it doesn't show us what kind of hole we're really in. This government owes George Orwell some royalties. And as bad as unemployment is, half the time employment is worse. I didn't sign up for a world where you should just feel so damn grateful just to not be unemployed anymore, even as you work for bullshit an hour doing a job which an idiot could do and should be doing. A job which takes all your time and energy and sucks your brain and your soul out through your nose, leaving you with nothing left inside to do anything that matters. So you go home, you sleep, you crash, you watch whatever bullshit is on television like the good little consumer you've suddenly become. You haven't read a book in years. I grew up being good, reading classic books, eating my vegetables. I liked it. I signed up for hot tea, good food, good books, good conversation. Instead, nobody reads and nobody can spell. Why not? It's far more important to be cool than to be smart. Smart people get beat up. And everybody's fat, and everybody eats the most horrible junk food. And I do too, because it's cheaper than buying fruit and vegetables. I mean, I didn't work all day just to be able to afford to eat healthy. And that stuff will go bad anyway, not like fast food fries which last forever. So why not? Eat garbage, grow fat and lazy like the good little fucking consumer you are. I signed up for a world which doesn't exist because 6 corporations bought it and turned us into slaves. I live in a world where 400 people have the same amount of wealth as half of the rest of the country. I signed up for a middle class which was choked out and destroyed. I live in a world where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and that's a cliche, but it's true. And you buy your lotto tickets thinking you'll ever get rich when you're drowning, and they'll never let you get up for air. Not if it'll cut 1 cent into their bottom line. I live in a world where the American dream is dead. I signed up for a world where if you worked hard and sacrificed, you could get somewhere. Not a world where the harder you work, the harder they laugh and take advantage of you. It seems like the harder you work, the less chance you have of getting anywhere. But you can't stop working either because you're not one of them, the ones who are born with money. And even they're struggling more than they ought to be, even though they are such lazy, silly princesses, most of them. But you're one of the workers, the people our country is built on. You work hard day in and day out. That's why they laugh. Because these days, a hard worker is slave labor. It's an illegal immigrant, or a legal one. Or it's you, a guy just trying to work hard and find some glimmer of hope in a difficult world. A guy trying to find some hint of the world he signed up for. But they're standing on your back, all of them. And we're standing on each other's backs, and there's a lot of back problems going on, is my point. It's Yertle the turtle. There's a hierarchy of people standing on top of you, and you're at the bottom. Now, maybe in Dr. Seuss's day, the turtle at the bottom could overthrow the whole shebang by just deciding he didn't want to be crushed anymore, but I strongly doubt it. These days, the turtles are standing on steel, and it's crushing you harder and harder and harder, but you can't really get out on top of it because there's nowhere to go. You want to die of starvation alone in the turtle wilderness? No. And if you leave, there's 1,200 other turtles who are very happy to be crushed in your place. I'm not a fan of turtles. So you're creative, he said, talking to himself. So you think you're a bit clever. So fucking what? Fuck you for being a pretentious prick. You're not smarter, you're not better than other people are just because you can complain a little louder. Everybody's in the same boat right now. Maybe we should just adjust, learn to live with what we've got. God help us all. We're fucked because we're all fucked. And you can see the problem. It's easy to see the problem. It's not so easy to see a solution, and maybe there is none. The opportunities I signed up for don't exist anymore because the world is corrupt and bought and sold at such a high level it makes you sick. But what's the point of complaining about it? I signed up for a world which doesn't exist anymore, and maybe I should stop trying to live in it. What if you could cheat? Become one of the beautiful people? Be a turtle on top, crushing all the turtles beneath. What would you do then? Would you use your power and status to make life easier for the turtles below? You could try. And the system would crush you with everything it's got, which is a lot more than you've got in your wildest dreams. If you could survive that, maybe you could make some tiny difference. But let's not forget, they've been at this race a lot longer than you have. Nah. You'd probably just buy a lot of expensive things and go home and watch television like a good fucking consumer. But you'll never be one of the beautiful people, just like they'll never be one of you. I'm not sure if we still have a working democracy, but we sure have a working oligarchy. And just like in the Middle Ages, an oligarchy is largely hereditary. For the most part, people with money will continue to have money. For the most part, people without will continue to go without. It's like Newton's third law of bullshit. You can't change the world. Not really. You can't even hope to understand it, he said, talking to himself again. You don't understand shit. That's okay. There isn't shit to understand. The world doesn't make a lot of sense. And it is awful in a lot of ways. And in a lot of ways, it always was awful. But maybe not in these ways specifically. And it's not the world you signed up for. But you're not a child anymore. You're an adult, God help you. It's not like my parents were lying to me. That world actually existed for them and for their parents. When my parents were in their 20s, they were married, had kids, were working in their own chosen careers, and were pretty damn successful at it. They were living the dream, all things considered. Of course, after a while, you find out that dreams aren't all they're cracked up to be either, but it'd be nice to be at least given the chance. I'm going to be 30 next month. I'm not scared about it, but I'm on welfare. I'm getting my food from the food bank as of this week. I'm just wondering, where do I go from here? And that's what kills me, because I wasn't naive and I wasn't stupid. I signed up for a world which doesn't exist anymore, because I could see it in front of me. It was the world I grew up in. I was young and naive enough to ignore the negative aspects, the warning signs. But all in all, I had it pretty good. My parents deserve a hell of a lot more credit for that than I ever gave them. I treat my parents like shit these days. It's okay, they started treating me like shit years ago. Why not? They're not happy. At some point, their worlds fell apart too. I grew up in a world that worked pretty good. Pretty good. And I thought that by the age of 30, I'd be able to pass along a world which worked pretty good to my own kids. But now I've got nothing to pass on. So maybe I shouldn't have children at all. And I didn't sign up for that.